Be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Melee Mob to see all our movie news, reviews, and so much more. Hello everyone and welcome to Movie Melee. I am Detective Artimus, and no, this is not movies in a nutshell, though you should probably check those out. I hear they're really good, and the host is sexy as hell. Today instead I'm going to run down my top 5 favorite movies of all time. That's right, top 5 movies of all time. Why top 5? Because at Movie Melee, we cut the foreplay, we get right into it because you know those lists, they have a bunch of filler. We're gonna skip all that. As you can imagine, I have many favorite movies, so putting this list together was harder than a gargoyle's dick. Disclaimer, this list will not have any comic book movies because those are awesome enough to be on their own list, which will be happening pretty soon. Now, without further ado, this is my top 5. Number 5. Dawn of the Dead. George Romero's masterpiece sequel to his iconic Night of the Living Dead movie continues its themes from the last movie, such as people not being able to work together, and that we are the actual monsters and not the zombies because we torture them, we have fun with it. It's pretty sick shit, but it's sadly kind of the same thing today. I can still see people doing this. The idea of living in a mall is pretty awesome, but when you add zombies and a bunch of douchey biker raiders to the mix, then it becomes less fun and more of a fight for survival. The tension in the movie rises so hard toward the end of the movie that it makes the slower parts from earlier seem really worth it. Also, the goddamn gore in this movie is fucking amazing, and it traumatized me as a kid. Granted, I probably shouldn't have watched it, but what are you gonna do? I'm a kid. I'm a bad boy like that. That fucking stomach scene though. Watch the director's cut. Highly recommend it.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Number 4. GoodFellas. GoodFellas is just one of those movies that when it's on TV, you have to finish it no matter where it is because it's just that good. It pulls you in so hard that you don't even notice that 2.5 hours has gone by. You get so invested in the characters and Henry's journey into the rise and fall in the world of wise guys. Based on a true story, we get a look inside of the mob lifestyle, and it looks pretty fun. It even makes me want to join. Though, except when I gotta get my hands dirty, I don't want to do any of that. Some may argue that the ending was anticlimactic, but it makes sense to the story, and not everything has to end in a bang. Nominated for a bunch of Oscars, and rightfully so. The acting is amazing, the direction is fluid and full of powerful imagery, and it has some of the most iconic lines in cinema history. What do you mean I'm funny? Funny how?
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
Number 3. Clerks. Before Marvel had the MCU, Kevin Smith was already making his own shared cinematic universe in the 90s, starting with this one, a movie about 2 store clerks talking about their lives and movies. That's it. It's this kind of simplicity that I admire. See, to me, movies are not about a story, but more about the characters, and in this one, the characters are interesting and funny as hell. I mean, sure, 95% of the movie is dialogue, but that's okay, because what they're saying is funny, interesting, relatable, and often deep at times. This is a movie about nothing, but it's relatable because this is how people actually are at work. You talk about weird shit and make fun of people. That's how it is in my job. Kevin Smith is a master of dialogue, yes, fuck you Tarantino, and an inspiration to me. And you'll find yourself quoting this movie pretty quickly. I'm not even supposed to be here today! Number 2. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Terminator 1 was great, but this one was amazing because it took things into a whole new direction by making the villain from part 1 one of the most likable heroes of all time. It also goes more in depth with their human versus machine war, and we learn what it is to be human. One of the things I love about this movie is that when you're watching it as a kid, you picture yourself as being John Connor himself because you're like, how cool would it be to have your own cyborg protector? I still dream about that. Hopefully I get it. Badass. Also, watching Arnold fight the T-1000 make for some of the best action scenes ever. Yeah, some pretty cool shit. Fantastic special effects that hold up today, well-defined characters, and a strong gritty tone. It's no wonder why this movie made Arnold a Hollywood icon and why his nanny wanted to bang him. Before we get to my number 1, we do have some honorable mentions because you can't have a list without these participation trophies.
I see a little silhouette of a man.
Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me.
I'm up here, you morons! Come and get me! You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
And my number one movie of all time? Oh, come on, you already know. Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. What can I say about this movie that hasn't been said before? It was supposed to be a B-movie space opera, but it turned into a cultural icon. It helped create the blockbuster genre we all know every summer, and it forever changed the way movies are made and experienced. It's a great coming-of-age story with iconic moments, characters, weapons, and score of all time. This movie has absolutely stood the test of time and will continue to bring in more fans for many more generations. I mean, come on, you can't tell me you never wanted a lightsaber. Just walk around with it, slicing people up. Yeah, that's not the Jedi way, it's more of the Sith way, but it's a lightsaber. I'm gonna be tempted to do fucked up shit. And that's my list. Do you guys agree with me, and what's your top 5? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to this amazing channel. I am Detective Artimus. Will someone get this big walking carpet out of my way?